You're now tuning in to Black Love Club. This is Richard Roots.
And Nikki Talks.
That's right, love is on the air.
Here we discuss all things about marriage, family, friendships, and relationships.
To build a better community, we are addressing many of the traumas in order to heal the village.
Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. right here on KBOB 89.9 FM.
Where we tell our stories our way. Yo, we had to give y'all a little throwback. Prime's over here like, where this come from?
Man, I ain't never heard that.
Where this come from? Yes, so he pulled that from the bottom of the barrel. It sounds so good, though. It brings back so many memories.
It did.
Y'all, so welcome back to the Black Love Club. Thank you for tuning in to KBOB 89.9. Y'all, we are elated because we have a special guest today. But before we introduce our special guest, let me go ahead and shout out my brother Prime. You know Prime in here today.
And hey, let's do it.
Sorry, y'all. If y'all was looking for Nikki Talks, she's a little bit under the weather right now. So yeah, if you're a prayer warrior, go ahead and pray for her. Keep our sister and my wife up in prayer. But our special guest we have today, man, it's such an honor to have him on the show. But we have Uncle Bobby. Uncle Bobby eating on the show, y'all. We're excited to have him. And we're just doing a continuation of our show that done so well. And I think the topic is big, but we're back on independence again. You know, independence, interdependence, and what was the last one? Oh, the silver one. That one. So what was the codependency? So we're back talking about codependency, interdependence, and independence. That was a mouthful. But today we have a new title. The title is Are We Too Healthy for Marriage? Shout out to April. Thank you for tuning in. You were the first one in the chat. Thank you for those who are tuning in on the radio. You want to answer that question? You look like you about to stab at it already. Are we too healthy for relationships? And that's for the chat too.
Yeah, if we are we too healthy for relationships? And so I was thinking about this after our show last week. Mm-hmm. And as we were kind of going through the intradependency and all of the pluses, all of the reasons why we should be intradependent, what I kept thinking to myself as we were talking about it is that it seems like we become redundant to a certain degree. It's almost as if we're so fixated on protecting ourselves from being let down, from being hurt, from being mistreated, that we seek to be able to fully take care of ourselves. But if we fully take care of ourselves, then we don't really rely on that other person. And marriage, long-term relationships are about relying on the other person. And so you do lose a bit of the spirit of that, I believe. And I think that that's part of why relationships struggle nowadays.
You know what? I think that's why the question is so hard. What do you bring to the table? Mm-hmm. I think that's why the question is so hard, because people, in this era, we are too independent. Mm-hmm. You know, where people aren't, you aren't prepared to answer the question, what do you bring to the table? As, oh, you're supposed to need me in a relationship? Like, you're gonna require me to do something? Because look, this is why we're having these conversations about gender roles too. Like, people think we shouldn't have gender roles and stuff like that, because people think that we're supposed to be two complete different individuals living independently within a relationship, which you can do that and it's going to drain you out.
The numbers are saying that. The numbers are simply saying that people get into relationships, they can't figure out who's supposed to do what. Things aren't getting done. Blame is just being pushed on each side of it. And I think it just stems from a fear. is, we don't want to be let down.
Right.
We don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to feel like, well, if for instance, one of the big things they talk about codependency is they go back to the feminism movement and how before women didn't make as much as men. And so they tended to rely on the man for their primary source of income. Mm-hmm. And what oftentimes happened is that if they ended up divorcing later on, well, the woman went out into the workplace and she gave up typically most of her youth and beauty, which is her most valued agency to other men. And then she also typically didn't have skills to be able to make a living that would be able to provide her with a similar or, a functional lifestyle.
That is so true, what you just said. That's so true because times have brought about a change. Mm-hmm. And you said back in the day, I'm talking about back in the day, men went to work. A lot of times the women stayed at home.
Right.
With the children and took care of the bill, and he'd bring his paycheck home and give it to his wife, and she'd pay the bills, cook the meals, and do all of that. Now we live in a society that's like barefoot and pregnant.
Right.
We don't say that. We don't do that no more. Mm-hmm. It's a sense of independence is happening, which is okay if you want to be independent. You know what I mean? So if you want to be independent, stay independent.
Right.
Stay single. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to be, if you want to be that way, stay that way. But if you are looking to get into a relationship, you should be willing to share with your mate the wholesome way of life, of a couple.
I completely agree.
Of a couple, because one thing, if you don't, somebody stated, it's going to be crazy if you be trying to be independent and be together. And it's just not going to work.
Right. I want to feel needed. Yeah. I don't know why you have to make me feel bad for wanting to feel needed. You know what I'm saying? And I want her to feel like she need me. Right. What's wrong with that?
Well, I think it comes into, I don't think people want to hear this, but I think this generation of women, and I think part of this is men's fault to a degree, is they a bit lazy in terms of relationships.
Oh, Nikki gonna appreciate that.
Are you talking about men?
Women.
Women?
Yeah, I think they're a bit lazy in terms of relationships.
Oh, wait, you said it's men's fault.
Oh yeah, it's partially men's fault because we create the environment that this type of mindset can thrive in. We absolve them of consequences a lot of times, accountability. Mm-hmm. We shower them with praise. We are resistant to offer criticism.
Well, that all depends upon what type of relationship you're in, because the same. Let me put it like this. This is just my opinion now. Just my opinion. The same men that women complain about are the same men that they're raising.
Facts.
It's the same men that they're raising, that they're complaining about. This man don't do this. This man don't do that. Blah, 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 blah. Such. It's that little JoJo. Now he done graduated and he done moved on out of the house and stuff like that. It's that man right there. And she is in a position to obtain. They say more black women go to college and get degrees and more so on a higher level than men. So now she gets a degree and she's able to come into the workforce making $30,000, $40,000 a year and getting a cubicle. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
While that brother, he may be working at Walmart driving the forklift. Every day and working hard and putting in time. And she may view him as not as up to her level.
Right.
Not up to her level. So therefore, she's got the finances taking place because she's at a higher rate. Now she's dictating to him how to run his life and her life and the whole family life. So the roles have changed in somewhat. If he's going to kick back and just listen to her. Okay, baby. All right. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And get into the wimpy mode. You know what I mean? But a lot of women have gotten hard.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of women have lost their femininity. You know, their feminine, their sex appeal and their femininity.
That's kind of what I'm kind of poking at. And so, like, I'm sure you've all heard this, is like, men nowadays don't really get gifts. Oftentimes
gifts,
yeah, you typically your celebration almost
you get a pair of socks,
a pair of socks, you know, and so it's like, that's what I mean. It's like women, I think, have gotten a bit lazy in the terms of the relationship itself.
I agree.
They are expecting the men to do so much, and they're not actually investing in it because they don't want to be taken advantage of.
Right, that's what it is.
And so, because they're not taking advantage of, because they're not putting themselves fully in it, they're getting bored. They're independent, and so it's easy to break up.
You know, I think a lot of women don't really get it, y'all. They can win a man with femininity.
Easy.
Oh man, they just don't get it. They can break a man down and get anything they want out of a man if they're real feminine and they're coming at a man. He just gonna melt and break on down and do whatever. He gonna change the flat on the car. He gonna do whatever's necessary to protect his female, his woman.
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate.
Okay.
Ooh,
all right.
Okay.
So you a man, you're gonna tell a woman what femininity is? You're going to tell a woman?
No, she's got to know that she's got to already learn that or somehow gain the femininity part.
That's what I'm saying. So independence isn't femininity. A woman, working and paying her own bills and leading the household.
Not
femininity.
So I would say it's not about what she's doing, it's why. I think it's the why that is what's the determining factor of whether or not it's a feminine thing or not. Is she doing it, in service? Is she doing it for somebody else? Is she helping somebody? What is she doing this for? If it is just self-preservation, that's not feminine.
It's not feminine at all. I agree with that because I know a few ladies, they got nice houses, not apartments, but nice homes, up in Gilcrease and different places like that. But they are not real feminine. They just hard as can be. They talk hard. And it's like almost talking to another guy.
Right.
And the sex appeal, they're not bad looking ladies. It's just that they just don't turn you off with that hard appeal and approach and what's up, Bobby? Hey, what's going on there, cuz? And I'm like, whoa, I think they just don't understand. The more feminine they are, the better off they're gonna get a chance to meet a guy who's gonna wrap his arms around her and really take care of her.
Right. I think you get you know what? These comments are coming in hot. I'm gonna read these comments.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So April said women have got to the point that the compassion we are supposed to have is just not there anymore with others.
Facts.
I agree.
I agree with that too.
I agree, and I think that's a part of that femininity that we miss.
Yeah. Like before you get to the next one, which I want you to read that one too, but like, I'm sure we've all experienced this, but when you've been like around a very feminine woman, like she don't gotta do a lot to get you to do something.
She don't.
Like you gonna already be, opening doors, hey,
chivalry and stuff.
All of that stuff because it's natural.
And we simple. We are simple.
Oh, we so simple, it's crazy.
Men are simple.
We just simple.
I said that before. A woman said, "Y'all not simple." I didn't mean like that, but Miss Nisi, she said, just like women are to blame for the choices made in their mate, men need to pick better as well. I agree.
I agree with that.
Stop hunching as soon as you meet folks and actually get to know someone, and you won't get locked in with someone whose ideas don't line up with yours. Simple. I love the fact that she used the word hunching. than that we're on the radio. But we know what that means. But no, that's facts. We did talk about that too.
I mean, I agree to a point. I agree. To a point.
I appreciate you being consistent because we disagreed on the radio.
I mean, like,
you're being consistent, but I agree wholeheartedly with what you just said. I agree. I stand on that.
Because see, here's the thing: like, every woman I meet is not eligible for a relationship, and every woman I meet is not qualified for a relationship.
That means they're not qualified for hunching either.
That's not true. Hey, I was set out here to sow my oats. I got a biological need to do it. I need a partner to do that.
A partner?
Yes, a dance partner.
Not a dance partner.
A dance partner. But a relationship you got to be qualified for.
Okay, so this is the problem with that. Like, this is what Miss Nisi is talking about.
Okay.
So the problem with that is you hunch with a woman who's not qualified to marry, right?
Right.
You have a baby with her.
Right.
If she's not qualified to marry, then she's not going to be a qualified mother.
Fair.
To raise those kids. So now you have this hellraiser of a child that's wreaking havoc in our communities because you're fighting for custody over this woman who wasn't qualified to be a mother.
Right.
You just went out hunching with her because you just needed to produce life.
Right.
You don't think that's a problem?
I mean, when you say it that way, it don't sound as good.
I mean, in most cases, men aren't going to win that custody battle.
True. But I think that that's also a systemic thing. But to point this in a different direction as to where my point is I'm looking at it from the standpoint of what this negotiation is. And so for me to get in bed with her, I had to meet her qualifications. For her to get into a relationship, she has to meet mine. So it's not so much, to me, it's not an equal exchange. Like, we both have to get our needs met. And what you're basically saying is that I'm supposed to just reserve myself until I can find someone who meets all of those criteria.
That is what I'm saying. So even, let's say this, someone give you $250,000, right? Do you go spend your money on the very first investment, or do you take time to find the right investment so that you can get a really good return of interest?
You should do the second. But,
so it's the same scenario.
But here's the thing. They also say that powerful men are decisive. And so you only need a short amount of information to make a decision. And the bigger the gamble, the bigger the payoff, the bigger the profit. Like, if you got in at Bitcoin when it was $100,000, you didn't make as much as the guy who got in when it was pennies.
Right.
But it was a much bigger risk. Like, is how you looking at this? And now, I'm not saying go sleep and impregnate all women. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that I should not be chained to the fact that she's not qualified for a relationship.
Right. So, no, I'm not saying that you can't have a life because she's not qualified for a relationship. What I'm saying is the problem is that I think we continue a cycle. We continue a cycle that never ends. I don't know if I can say this word, but children without a father, an active father, and they create a lot of chaos in this world.
I think a lot of women really should vet the men that they are messing with before they sleep with them. And you wouldn't have all these single parent moms who've been impregnated by the guy they met at the club and they went home with him that night. Now they're pregnant by him and he's saying, oh, they ain't my baby, and all of that kind of stuff. They should, like the old days, they used to vet.
Right.
They used to vet each other, you know what I mean? And the girl who slept around, she didn't ever get no boyfriend or nothing, or no husband or nothing, because she was sleeping around. Nowadays, it seems like a whole lot of them, not just women, but men too, are just sleeping around. And that's all they're doing is sleeping around, for a 20-minute feeling, 30-minute feeling in the bed. And then when that feeling is over with, where do you go from there? When you wake up in the morning and don't really know the person who's next to you, whoa. And hey, I'll talk to you later on. I'll give you a call. And the call never comes. And now here we go 2 to 3 months later, she pregnant. I'm pregnant by Johnny. Do you know how to get in touch with Johnny? No.
And the thing is, you ain't gonna believe her.
You ain't gonna believe her at all.
Because she just hunching everybody.
She been in there hunching and tearing everybody up.
You gonna hunch me without commitment, and then you gonna tell me that that's my baby?
And most men, they just don't believe it when you say something like that, because you're in the club every weekend, hunching somebody. And what they fail to realize is guys be in the club and they be in the club and the guys be talking about them. Hey, man, you know what? You can go over there and get with so-and-so and so-and-so. Yeah, man, go talk to her. You can take her home with you. I had a night before last.
Yep. That's what they do.
That's what the guys do.
That's what they don't know.
The women don't know that.
They don't know.
They don't realize that brothers is in there. Some of them, not all, but some of them are in there talking just like, boy, look at that, man. A big booty and a smile. You know what I mean? And
hey, if you're not in a committed relationship with him, what loyalty do he have with you? You know, he don't have no loyalty. So I mean, once he hunts you, hunch. That's a good word. Once he hunts you, that information is for the streets.
It's for the streets.
It's for the streets. As long as you know that, because you thinking that you just gonna hunch him and it's gonna be in secret because you ain't gonna tell nobody because you concerned about your image. If you are, because today women not really concerned.
They be broadcasting it like it's a badge of courage.
Yeah, like the stuff I see on social media, they be like, I got me in something today. So I'm on everybody who pull up at this McDonald's, they getting free fries. You saw them.
No, it's so bad now that they doing like prostitution for charity. Like they got OnlyFans models talking about, well, I'm doing these these shoots and stuff, but all of the proceeds I'm donating to charity.
Oh, so you don't feel guilty supporting them, right?
I'm like, if that ain't the most backwards, convoluted nonsense ever.
I'm waiting to run into the guy who says, you know what, I just signed up. Look, I signed up for OnlyFans. Yeah, I paid for it. Yeah, but man, I did it for a charitable deed. It was a charitable deed. Look, man, I can show you the receipts. They send me an email. I can file it on my taxes.
Speaking of OnlyFans, is it all just sexual?
I'm not sure.
Somebody told me you can sell stuff on it and you can do other stuff on OnlyFans.
To my understanding, it's not only that, it's just predominantly that.
Yeah, I heard that it was started OnlyFans was started for like
music, I think.
Yeah, music. Yeah, so it was like fans. You know, that's why the
for entertainers.
So like you could up and coming musicians be able to kind of build a platform.
Okay.
On OnlyFans.
Okay. I've never been there. Don't know it. Ain't never seen it. I just heard ladies say they got OnlyFans, and I just I know it's sexual.
Right.
That's the minute I hear OnlyFans, I think sexual.
Yeah. So April said, all I have to say is all I have to say is we all of choices, and it seems like women blame the man for all the problems. But if the woman gives the man all of her, he will protect her and cherish her. Amen. Hallelujah. Where's the choir?
You know, I can really
end the service.
I can really. That what she just said right there is so uplifting, and if more women thought like that, man, it would be good.
Yeah.
Because see, the thing about us men, we horny anyway. When a men stay horny all the time, and we think logical, they think emotional, and they got the goods, and we want the goods.
Right.
It's been that since the beginning of time.
Always.
The only time we don't think logical is when we're horny.
Yeah, when we're horny.
Hey, so This is why I'm saying men are simple.
We simple.
So if men don't think logical when they're horny, then as a woman, what could a woman do to help this man think logical a lot? Give a lot of hunching.
Do a lot of hunching.
Do a lot of hunching. He's gonna be thinking logical all the time because he's not thinking with his extra member.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, with him. Right.
Am I tripping or am I telling the truth?
No,
I think I'm giving. I think I'm giving game.
You're giving game.
That's why a lot of times we find ourselves in a place where, you know, like women say, "Oh, he cheated with me with this woman. This don't even make sense." He wasn't thinking with his head. He wasn't thinking logical. You know what I'm saying? He done messed up everything that he worked so hard for, knowing that this marriage is going to end in divorce and he's going to lose half his wealth to his wife, and he's probably going to have, most likely going to have to pay child support.
Right.
And in some cases, alimony.
And alimony, right. So this means that this man is not thinking logical. So if we're seeing this happen all the time, over and over and over and over and over, I'm telling you, maybe the answer to it is give him more.
Well, yeah, but I also think that it's one of those things where it's, to me, and I get it, it's kind of like a double standard, but we different. Men and women are different.
We are.
And so I get it. On one side, men, part of the way that we establish your loyalty to us is through your sexual fidelity. But there's reasons for that. Primarily, I want to make sure it's my kid, which is what we was talking about, about the girl who's, you know, giving up to everybody in the club.
Yeah.
But as a woman, what women end up doing is like, well, since you're expecting me to be sexually fidelity, I want that same thing from you. So they're trying to attribute that loyalty on the men, and that's not how men look at it. We're not built the same way. That's like, you know, you got two separate animals and one of them is aquatic, and you basically saying, hey, if you can only swim 30 minutes a day. Well, the aquatic animal is going to struggle with that.
Hey, that's a good point.
That's going to be a much harder burden on him than the other animal. And so you can't balance that the same way.
So herbalists would say unless we're stressed too, and I do want to add that in. This is a great opportunity just to express the importance of men's mental health. And I think feminine women, they tend to men's mental health really, really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Because a lot of our stress could really be like solved, through a good woman. And I think I mentioned it on the show before. I mean, there was a point in my marriage where I was like, this is it. Like, I can't go any further. Like, I was in the worst financial debt that I literally, this is not a joke. I looked at homeless people and I envied them because I owed so much debt that I felt like the homeless man was ahead of me, because soon as, like, if he gets $100, he has $100. If I get $100,000, I owe that. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So if I get a car, they taking it. If he gets a car, he keeps it. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a place where I'm like, man, I failed my family. So my wife sent me a simple text. We love you and we appreciate everything you do. And my stress diminished like that. So I'm like, you know what? I got a family. I ain't fail him. I didn't fail him. I made a mistake, but I ain't fail him.
Right.
But I went from that to here. You know what I'm saying? But just imagine if I would have had, a woman who wasn't feminine.
She would have left you.
100%.
Yeah, she'd have been gone. You wouldn't have heard from her no more.
And that would have just messed it up for every other woman. I would be like, look, I'm going to struggle by myself. I can be mad by myself.
Yeah. And then the crazy thing is you would have did everything you did anyway. You would have grinded harder. And then she would have looked back and been like, well, why he decided to do all of this stuff when we not together no more?
Right. Because as men, we'll take that fuel. We'll take that as fuel.
Well, we got to.
Well, most situations, when a man and a woman break up, she takes more or less everything, especially if you got children. She takes everything, and we have to start from the bottom, getting the cars and getting a place to stay and doing it. And as we progress up, sometimes they stay on the same level, the same level, and they don't progress anymore, and you're just going on up the ladder. And then if you meet somebody else while you're going up that ladder, then there's envy and some jealousy. And if your kids are not of age to be out on their own and stuff like that, and they're still in the house with her, that's where a lot of problems start.
Yeah.
Right there.
You know what else they do? So there is something that I want to add. So men, typically when men go through a bad divorce or whatever, their get back is, I'm going to pursue a career. I'm going to advance in my career. I'm going to make more money. Right? That's typically what happened. But for the women, what they do, Prime? I know you know.
No. You're not about to put me in the
I know
box.
you know. No, I'm going to say it. I
go ahead and
just
say
correct me if I'm wrong.
Fair enough.
Men in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. When a woman goes through a bad divorce, she go and get her body right. I'm lying.
I'm lying. Like being in the gym and stuff?
Yeah, she go get in the gym because she knows that this is what men want, and men do that because they know this is what women want.
But she wouldn't do it for her husband.
But
some of those women go to the gym just so they can meet somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because they know that's what attracts men.
That's what attracts men. So they're exercising, working on their body, and they know Jim over there kind of like her. He's looking at her. You know, she's in there all the time, and boom, boom. It's just, for that purpose.
Now, I'm not saying that men are off the hook.
No, because we're not.
Right. If like, so we're doing the same thing. If we, after divorce, we go and we scale up, then it's like, okay, I'm going to show her what I can do when she's not there versus putting that extra foot forward while she's there. You know what I'm saying? We could do better at that too. So, but what I'm saying is like, when you're in a relationship, I think this is something that we do that we really need to work on in our community. When men say, hey, I prefer you to, lose a little weight. Don't make up excuses, because if there was a divorce, you won't have any excuses. You're going to lose that weight so you can find somebody else. And then you're going to be looking at your inbox to see if he's messaging you. But the same for the man.
Most men are fearful at telling a female to lose weight.
That's facts.
If they're dating her, they are very that is a sensitive topic. Her weight.
That's facts.
And they say 78% of black females across this country are overweight. That's supposed to be a statistic number, overweight. So you don't talk about that weight thing, because they're gonna be telling each other, "Hey, girl, you sure look good. Look at that, what you got on. Oh yeah, you fine. You looking good, girl." But men will sit back and won't say nothing about the hair, the lashes, the makeup, the weight, or anything like that. We won't say nothing about it. And especially those men who've grown up from childhood up in that environment around their mothers and aunts and everybody who's overweight. They won't say too much because they're accustomed to being around those type females. So that's the way that one goes right there. So you got choices to be wherever you want to be and whatever you want to do. I can remember, okay, I'm an older guy, right? I'm talking to you guys. I can remember Soul Train.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use that as an example. Nobody was overweight on Soul Train.
No.
None. You know what I mean? They got out there. It was slender tenders and guys dancing and all of that. So everybody was more or less weight conscious of back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. Look at your grandmothers and grandfathers, back in the day when they were married in the 60s and the 70s and part of the 80s, but now people have made choices. Eating more women are eating more fast foods and blowing up, swelling up, and the men more or less are not really big men, and it's different. Well, they're a little bit up there, but they're not as big as the females are.
Right. And, this, I'm actually glad you brought that up, because it kind of segues me into something I wanted to add to what you said earlier about, you were talking about how the woman, the feminine, can help the men. in terms of our psyche. I think that that's one of the big reasons that trauma and therapy for women is such a big thing, is because there is an absence of men. We were meant for each other. And so part of what was to help you balance out yourself, your emotions, was the man. Because when you were a bit crazy, the guy that you loved and you trusted could sit you down and say, hey, you doing a bit much right now. Calm down. It's okay. And then you'd be able to sit down, think about it, and be like, okay, you know what? Ain't that deep. Before you've made a decision that you now have to deal with the consequences of. But now, with the absence of men, we got a lot of these women who kind of fold in on themselves because they're alone. And with all of that emotion, I say this all the time, but scientifically, women are higher in trait neuroticism. All that simply means is that if you don't know purely if something is good or bad, you tend to think of the bad first. That's why whenever we tend to get in debates, they tend to, and it's not to say men don't, but women on average tend to lean to the worst case scenario more often in a conversation because of that trait neuroticism. So if you are sitting alone in your emotions, you're stressed, you're alone, you have all of this pressure and expectations on you by other women, society, men, that all confounds on you. But I think a lot of times it's because we don't have each other.
That's facts. That's facts, man. I think we balance each other out, man. I don't think we because we're social beings, man. We're not created to be alone. But we starting to see like the negative impact it's having on our community for trying to be alone. But then we call it independence. I have to speak to this comment. Nisha said, I cannot believe the subject of a woman's weight rears its head when folks have fupas here too. Now, this is 100% accurate. So look, let me share some light on something. When I initially brought up the topic, it's not necessarily because of women being overweight. What the issue is, it's like a man could go into a relationship with a woman who's overweight, or whatever you would consider to be overweight. He may like it, but the moment he expressed, hey, this is not the figure that I like. I like that figure. Can you get back to that figure? What I'm expressing is that I don't think women show as much interest while they're in a relationship to that man. And some women do. I know my woman does, and I reciprocate the same thing. But what I'm saying is that women should be mindful of that, instead of just, coming up with excuses. Uncle Bobby mentioned that back then, women on Soul Train, they were all slim. So there weren't any excuses then.
Dude, I was just up there and I was looking at old pictures of old family photos, and the people who were overweight stuck out like sore thumbs.
They did back then.
They were so rare in the photos. They stuck out like sore thumbs.
Right. And the sad part about it is, if you're overweight, if we have these pot bellies and stuff like that, we all can do something about our weight.
Right.
You can do something about your weight. You just got to get out there and figure out what to do to slim down and trim down for health issues.
What they told me is eat less, move more. Pick one. Or do both.
Yeah. You can make a change. Just because you weigh 300 pounds don't mean you have to stay at 300 pounds. You can come down to 180 pounds or 200 pounds or something like that. People do it every day. I see, there are people out here that are losing weight and health conscious, going to the gym, exercising, eating the right foods. I mean, you got people doing that every day. So there's a choice right there. Either you want to stay where you're at, in the weight categories, or you want to trim down and become more physically attractive to more men, and you can pick and choose what kind of man you want to have. Because think about it, y'all. if you're a big overweight woman, most of the men that you catch just want to hit it. Basically, that's what they want to do. They just want to take you out because they feel like you're easy, and they want to go ahead and hunch with you. Ain't that hunching? Right.
Yeah, hunch.
They
typically gonna view you as undisciplined.
Undisciplined, and hey man, I'm gonna get big girl over there. They sit over there, men sit over there and talk. I'm gonna get big girl, man. The club I'm about to close. She ain't got nobody, so I'm gonna go over there and get her.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's facts. I mean, that's the same thing I would want my daughter to know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, men, when we see a woman who's bigger, to be honest, we're thinking she don't have as many options. Mm-hmm. And it's funny too that I'm saying this because just yesterday I saw a post where it was a bigger woman, and people were saying in fact it was this woman, the woman who was big, where she couldn't fit in the lift. Her. Oh. So
she couldn't fit in the lift.
She tried to sue Lyft because she couldn't fit in the car. No, the guy wouldn't let her in the car.
Oh yeah,
because he was like, "You gonna destroy my suspension?"
Right.
In his defense.
Oh really?
In his defense, it was. I felt like he had a valid point.
Yeah, it was accurate. She was big, and this is not to down her. When we say this, it's not to down people. It's just that this is reality. We're just being logical. So somebody said in the comments.
They have a lot of
people
big men
are talking. No, they say people are talking about her, but I bet you there's a lot of men in her DMs right now, and that's the thing. Like, they interpret a lot of men's being in their DMs as men who want to make a lifelong commitment with this woman. If there are a lot of men in her DMs,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm
that's crazy.
I'm not gonna say crazy. Maybe there are, but if there are a lot of men in her DMs, it's not because they want to make a lifelong commitment with this woman.
Those men had to grow up fantasizing about the Pillsbury Doughboy from the Ghostbusters.
Because most men don't have an overweight woman on their to-do list, checklist.
I'm gonna go find. In other words, I'm gonna go find an overweight woman. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right. There we go. Yeah. So
most men don't walk around saying, "Man, I'm looking for an overweight woman."
Right.
I'm gonna set a disclaimer because look,
is that what you're saying?
Cody Ransom saying, "Uncle Bobby, y'all wow." So I want to set a disclaimer. We're not talking about big women. This is really from a
we are most certainly talking about big women.
No, not down it. But I'm saying, healthy. This is like. I just hate whenever we voice ourselves when it comes to these things. It's like, it's bad. If it was an overweight man, I would encourage him to lose weight.
This is exactly what you were just saying, though, is that as men, we need to stop explaining. We need to stop justifying. We need to stop making excuses for saying the truth.
Right. See, here's the deal between men. Fat boy can be around us and man, you need to lose some weight, man. Why you overweight? We can talk to him like that. We can say, "Oh man, you just," and then laugh, you know what I mean, or whatever, man. Go in the gym, get you a membership, man. Dang boy, you weigh 300 pounds. Come on, man, you need to come on down with it, man. Come on down with it. We can talk like that, but you cannot talk to a female like that. You can't talk to a female like that. She's gonna be into her feelings, into her emotions. So we don't say anything at all.
Right. Yeah.
And that was to Barbara's comment. She was like, there's a lot of big men out here, but that's the difference, is that no big men are walking around here confused or in delusion that they are big guys. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've been 300 pounds in my life.
Yeah. I've been overweight too. And I'm overweight now.
I'm overweight. I'm about 30 pounds away from where I want to be.
Me too.
But that said, I've also put in the work, lost the weight, and I understand that I got their way because of my decisions and my choices. But we can't really get anywhere if it's always an excuse behind why you are the way you are.
Right. So Cody said, y'all can't do that. Y'all can't do that though, bro. Some men do like that, and not because it's their very last choice. To set the record straight, that's true. Some men do like big women. some men will actually marry big women.
Drake did talk about the BBWs.
So what I'm saying is like,
well, but you like what you like,
right? You like what you like.
You like what you like,
and I'm not down in that. So this is not to make not to make a big woman feel like she's not beautiful.
Not beautiful, not one. I understand that too.
Yeah, but what we're saying is, tell me I'm lying. If that same woman was to lose a lot of weight, she would have a lot more options.
Oh man,
right?
Tons of options.
So
I've seen it happen before.
So what we're saying is, if she put herself in a position where she lose weight, then she can open herself up to more options where she can actually get to know more men and see which one fits her better, instead of just landing on the few options that she have. So I mean,
I like how you said landing on, but continue.
Salah.
Really? Okay.
Salah.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Herbalist table think that's funny. I don't know what part he was laughing at, but nah, man, we not trying to rag on women. When we say we love black women, we love black women in every shape and form. 100%. I just think as men, we do have to be in a place where we feel comfortable telling women the truth. You know, because I mean, we have herbalist table on here. He knows all of the health benefit that comes with being overweight. You know, so I can love you while you're overweight. But if I don't tell you that being overweight could be problematic for you, then do I really love you?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So again, the argument is not that there won't be men who will like you. That's a man for every woman. That's a man.
Okay, I don't know if I go that far, but yeah,
there's a man that's gonna. I think there's a man that's gonna think every woman is attractive.
A man that's gonna think that every woman is attractive.
I don't think there's a woman that a man won't say, you know what, I want her.
I don't know if I could go that far with you.
I don't either. I don't know if I.
I don't know.
You know.
I done seen some things.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying
am I not
some
a man?
No, I'm saying some man, not every man.
So you're saying there's men walking around here with no standards. Like as long as you come with the requisite female parts, he with it. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I mean, Dan, I can't say that.
That's all I'm trying to say. It's like, come on, let's be real about that.
I can't go. People like what they like.
Yeah.
You know, and if you are brought up in a certain situation to where big is better, then that's what you like. You know, that's what you like. You know, people in my generation didn't come up like that. So that's not really what we're attracted to. My partners and the people I know, they like slim and fit type females. You know, that's what I'm saying. For my generation, now that's what I'm talking about. 2025 is different.
Right.
You know, so big is in, you know, you can, you know, go that way. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I'm not putting nobody down. I'm not against big women. I want everybody to know that Bobby Eden ain't against big women. You know, I'm just saying people have choices and they like what they like. And, you know, people need to be held accountable for the way they are.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying.
It's prime time.
Is it prime time already?
It is prime time. You know,
April
did not fail to remind us.
Prime time.
It is prime time. Okay. So since Nikki Talks is in here, I don't got my post up.
You know, you don't got that music either.
I ain't got my intro music.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
So get well soon, Nikki. You know, we can't wait to have you back. But so I'll share this. Today, the reflection we did today was on taking control of your narrative, of your story. And the reality is that when And there are times, like I mentioned before, I was up to 300 pounds. I was depressed. I had been through some things. I was away from my family, bad relationships, etc., stuff y'all don't care about. But I was in a bad spot. And the only way that I could improve my circumstances was to take accountability for my decisions that led me there. And so when I say authoring or writing your narrative, is to understand that it's your choices. It's the things you talk about. It's the habits you adopt. It's the things you indulge in that create your future, that create your life. And so if you're not happy with where you are right now, then it's time to realize that you are the one scripting the story. You are the one who colors how this thing looks, whether it's a tragedy or a comedy. I personally think it's better off to be an epic, because epics have a little bit of everything in there. There's a little bit of love. There's a little bit of tragedy. There's a little bit of comedy. It's all in the midst of it. But it's an epic because it's your tale. It's your story. So just understand that regardless of where you are and what got you here, is that you can still pick up that pen and start changing what the next chapter looks like. And and I argue the best way is to start by getting in the mirror and just being honest, because there's a lot of things about you believe that just ain't true. The lies that you heard or just accepted from somebody else. And then there's some things that are true that you've been avoiding. Those are going to sting too. But once you can accept those, once you can acknowledge those, then just start moving in the right direction. You ain't got to do it all at once. You didn't get here by making decisions all at once. Just start moving in that direction. It could be as simple as start taking a walk. It could be as simple as, getting in touch with a nutritionist, switching up what it is that you eat. But the thing is be intentional and understand that you are the one who's scripting the story. But if you don't take responsibility to write your story, understand your fear, your doubts, and the people around you will write it for you. And it's typically going to be a horror story.
Yeah, that's dope, man. When I read that this morning, man, I took that with me. I took that reflection with me. But that's even the one-liner. You're not living a story. You're writing it. It puts so much power in your hand, and it puts you in a position where you make sure that your life is intentional.
Exactly.
If you're reminding yourself every day, I'm writing this story, then it's like, okay, today you can only lift 200 pounds. Well, I'm going to write in my story in 3 months, I'm going to be lifting 300 pounds.
I mean, that's good. I'd even go so far as to say is that you said today, I can only lift 300 pounds. You could say right now, today, hey, I can lift more weight than I ever have before, or more weight than I did a year ago.
Right.
And that already makes you more powerful.
Right.
You see, because you're defining the narrative. It's the difference between saying you have to do something and you get to. It's all about how you're coloring it. And that goes a long way, especially in the psyche, for, your general happiness, how you dealing with stress, how you move and flow through life. Because if you're always at the whim and mercy of circumstance, your life is going to be chaotic.
Facts. Again, if you have not subscribed to Up Before the Sun, go ahead and subscribe to Up Before the Sun. After the live is done, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. But yeah, that's some good reading. But back to the topic. We got 5 minutes left on the clock. But we are talking about, are we too healthy for relationships? And this is a continuation of our conversation about codependency, interdependency, and independence. Right. So the problem is that we believe that we can be independent before marriage, and then we think that we can shut it off when we get married. And that's why we have topics like decentering men, right? So if women decenter men while they're working on their careers, then they're programming themselves to live a life where they're not considering meeting the needs of a man, right? So when they get married, we as men, we are expecting this independent woman to shut that off, but she's been working on decentering men for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then we get married and we're wondering like, hey, I see, you cooked the kids' meal, but you didn't cook mine. I see that you are loving towards the kids, you're forgiving towards the kids, but you're not forgiving towards me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I could say that, man, we need to stop having these conversations about decentering women. But I mean, the moment you say that, other men gonna look at you just like Prime just looked at me. You gay?
Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
I'm saying like, decentering women.
But I mean,
because from childhood, that's all we think about. We think about like, I have to do this so I can get women. I have to do this so I can get a woman, even if it's not to marry a woman. Because I'm not gonna make it look like men.
Yeah, we got to dress this way. We got to look this way. We got to act this way. We got to put on this way to attract a female. Because you can talk to 10 females and you may get 1 or 2 that will respond to you. See, it's hard for most men don't have a lot of sex, in a whole year.
Right.
It's not, you got the nerd guys and nerdy boys, and you got the playboys, and you got all kinds of different types of men, and you got responsible men and irresponsible men. You got men who go out to the club every weekend just looking for a woman to have sex with. And so you got different types of men. Then you got your educated brothers and the people who are trying to be independent brothers and build something from the ground up. You got those type of brothers. And we just have to get to a place to where we can start loving on each other and stop looking at what everybody got.
Right.
What you got. If you got a good man, hey, take care of it. If you got a good woman, take care of, don't just be looking up at the sky. Here you are making $19,000 a year, but you want a woman that's making $100,000 a year. That's kind of crazy thinking.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen.
Right.
That's the reality of it. It's not because birds of a feather flock together. And so what you put in it is what you're going to get out of it. Right. Now most men, we don't be looking at a woman's pockets or nothing like that. We don't really look at financials. We don't really look at that. Most men don't. We look at sexual. What do we do when we get together and we sitting outside by the car and a fine woman just start walking by? First thing we say is,
"What's her credit score?"
No.
What you think her personality is like?
That is funny. We say, "Oh man, you see that? Man, yeah, she look good." Wow. Because we're physical. We're visual.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just got off that path right there. So
yeah. So just to add my last little piece to this is that the reason I brought this up is that I think that we have gotten to a place where we're so afraid to be let down that we've lost the ability to truly rely on someone else. And so we lose the pureness and the intimacy of the relationship. Because I was saying this to a girlfriend and it was hard for her to get it at first, but I was like, I understand you've been through things, but you have to trust me to allow me to lie to you. And she was like, what do you mean? Why would I want you to lie to me? I'm like, I'm not saying I'm going to lie to you, but you have to create a space where I can do it. You can't be like psychoanalyzing me or trying to uncover everything, because that creates a situation to me that you don't trust me. But if you're going to fully invest in this, you have to give me the space to hurt you. It's my job not to. But that's what love is. Right. There is an element of pain. There is an element of fear. That's why it's important that we trust each other. That's why we have to rely on each other.
If we don't have trust, we don't have anything. But it's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing to live in a house with somebody that you know aren't your enemy. And that's the very thing that can help resolve a whole lot of issues. Because when you think for a second, I don't like the way they said something, or I don't like what they did, or you question their motives, if you can always remind yourself that I'm not living with my enemy, then you can resolve anything. And that's why that trust is so important.
Exactly.
And I think this is why there's such a strong push in decentering men, independency, and all of these other things that separate us.
Right.
Because we are a strong, powerful force if we can be under one roof, one finances, and trust each other. But with that said, you guys, it was a beautiful show. Thank you for tuning in to KBOB 89.9. You are tuned in to the Black Love Club. Well, this was the Black Love Club. And remember, as always, Black women,
we love you.
And as Nikki would say, and all of the other women I know are listening on the radio and in the chat right now saying, Black men, we love you as well. This is Richard Roots.
And Nikki Talk.
You're now tuned in to Black Love Club.
Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. right here on KBOB 89.9 FM.
April said it for me.
This is KBOB 89.9 FM, Tulsa. And now streaming 24/7 live from the Eden Media Studio. 24/7 live at KBOB899.com.